Hello and welcome to the first ever Digital Culture Awards brought to you by Arts Council England and the Digital Culture Network. Thank you all so much for joining us today for this virtual ceremony, which, as you can see, we're live streaming directly from our homes into yours. My name is Jasmine Dotiwala and I'll be your host for today's ceremony. I'm really excited to be a part of these awards because digital innovation in the tech sector has changed everything about the way we live and work today. Digital innovation in tech has done obvious things that we all know about, like giving a voice to millions of people from underrepresented backgrounds across the globe. And it's also allowed us to share like no other time in history before. Similarly, digital innovation in tech's kept millions of us across the globe connected and engaged with the outside world during a global pandemic. I, for example, managed to explore galleries and locations around the planet via my laptop due to advances in AI, but it's also changed the way that creative industries and arts work. For example, you all know that theatres and art galleries across the country have had to be creative with how they reach their at-home audiences during the pandemic. Tech and arts provided a lifeline to us all. And it's interesting, as the arts industry used to be run by gatekeepers in the industry who decided who made arts and culture worthy, what was valued and monetized. But now digital tech innovation like yours has leveled the playing field for everyone. Digital innovation in tech hasn't just impacted my professional life, but also my personal life. For example, I use an app on my daily walks in the park where I simply point my phone at insects, flowers and trees, and within seconds the definition or the name of that thing comes up. And also, and more seriously, I use an app every day which is a modern motion sensor at my elderly mum's house, which shows me 24 hours a day which room she's in and that she's moving about and she's safe. And that brings a huge peace of mind to me, my family, and also my mum around her own safety. So I, as you can tell, am a big fan of people like you all here today who use your passions to create an easier way for all of us to navigate life, engage together and create a better, more inclusive society via your digital genius. The work that you're all doing is creating a hybrid for new ways of sharing arts with people in person and digitally remote audiences. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the hours and hours of time and resource that you've all committed to creating the brilliant digital projects we're going to be giving a nod to here today. Before we begin, I want to invite everyone to really make use of the chat function that you can see on your screen. It'd be wonderful if we could all interact with each other, cheer each other on, talk about your peers' projects, just like you would if we were at a real in-person event. So let's celebrate each other in the chat. Have a go at now, say hi to people, tell people what part of the UK you're streaming in from. It would be brilliant to see it really, really busy in there. You can also get involved on the Digital Culture Network Twitter account at ace_DCN, where we'll be live tweeting all the announcements too. And do remember to also use the hashtag Digital Culture Awards when talking about the event on social media. Right, we've got a great lineup today. First, we're going to be hearing from Tina Hill, who heads up the Digital Culture Network at Arts Council England. She'll explain a little bit more about what these awards are all about. We'll then hear from Darren Henley, the Chief Exec of the Arts Council, on how important resilience and innovation is to the arts and culture sector and to the strategy of the Arts Council for the next 10 years. And after that, we'll ask our judges to announce the winners for their categories. And at about the halfway mark, I think about 4:45, we're excited to be able to show you a piece called Chaotic Body 2 Liminal Phase. And that's a motion capture dance piece by Digital Culture Awards nominees Alexander Whitley Dance Company. It's incredible, so don't miss that. And then rounding out the event, we'll hear from the inspiring Kanya King. She's the founder and CEO of Mobo Awards, who will announce the Winner's Winner Award. She'll share some concluding thoughts on driving innovation and change. So let's get started. I'll hand over now to Tina.
Thank you, Jasmine. It's great to be here, and we're so excited to have you hosting our first ever Digital Culture Awards. Now, over the past few years, we've all had to adapt to the challenges posed by the pandemic, to the way we work, learn, and socialise. Now, the possibility of sitting in a theatre with friends and family, or strolling through a gallery or viewing a historic artifact in person was just suddenly taken away. So we've all had to quickly find new ways to experience art and culture and create meaning in our lives. But as organisations, we all know that finding those new ways of working or driving change on an individual or organisational level is not easy. Now, at Digital Culture Network, we have provided one-to-one support and training to hundreds of arts and cultural organisations, and we know the hard work that goes into it. Now, all of you here today at this event have found such unique ways to enable your audiences to continue to connect with creativity. You should be very proud of yourselves and your organization's achievements. Now, our access to digital technology has played a huge part in making this happen, and the Digital Culture Awards are a celebration of the speed and creativity with which our sector has risen to this challenge. The awards are a chance to showcase that great work and recognize how many of you have made a significant digital transformation, increased engagement, and improved use of technology. You are all winners, regardless of whether you receive a trophy or not, and you should certainly take credit for it. We received hundreds of fantastic submissions from across all art forms and areas of the country, and we've been really inspired by all the great projects we've seen. The submissions showed incredible inclusion through projects such as creation of a new learning disability digital inclusion network, or a project to address human rights through augmented audio and game design, and a transformation of a library to better meet the needs of its digital users. Now, the other aspect that really struck me was just the fun and creativity in the projects, such as a museum curator battle on who has the creepiest exhibit, or a digital murder mystery, and the first ever global forest sound map. Now, this is just scratching the surface, as many more brilliant projects showed how creativity, innovation, and social causes beautifully marry together. Now, it's been an incredibly tough job to pick the winners, so I'd like to say a big thank you to our expert panel of judges who have selected some outstanding examples. And thank you to everyone who cast over 3,000 votes for the public voting categories. And thank you once again to everyone who entered. We hope you can all take the next hour or so to reflect on all your brilliant achievements. Now I'd like to pass you on to our Arts Council Chief Executive, Darren Handley. Over to you, Darren.
Thanks, Tina, and thank you, Jasmine. In our 10-year strategy, Let's Create, we talk about how we want the cultural sector to be fit for the future. And that includes being able to navigate new challenges and opportunities. We want organisations to continue to deliver high quality and engaging work whilst ensuring that an even wider audience can have access to that great work. The last 2 years and the entries to these awards have shown that cultural organisations are ready to do just that, and that the public are ready to join them on that journey. We've seen ambitious projects that have adapted to their new circumstances by embracing new technology and finding new ways to tell their stories. We've seen organisations using their data and income to improve their businesses and become more resilient. We've also seen organisations who've had to close their physical spaces, opening themselves up in new, creative and exciting ways, and by engaging directly with their communities or becoming more accessible to those who need it. The organisations and projects we'll be celebrating here today have given us all a foundation to build on for the future. Now, you don't want to hear any more from me, so without any delay, Jasmine, it's back over to you for some awards.
Thanks, Darren. And with that inspiring note, let's move to our first category, digital storytelling, one of our 2 public voting categories, which celebrates innovative use of digital for impactful storytelling to engage audiences. I'll pass you over to Tom Burton, a multi-award winning interactive director and creative who works as head of interactive at BBC Studios. Tom's going to say a few words about the category, then introduce the shortlist and announce your winner. Tom.
Hi there, I'm Tom Burton, Head of Interactive at BBC Studios, and I'm honoured to be here and to have been a judge at the awards today. I've been asked to introduce the category, just speak a little bit about why it was important. Without innovation, you only have your right now and you're possibly in the future. The problem is you don't know what happens next. And right now, I think we'd all agree, knowing what happens next is something we're all trying to ascertain and think is important. We're living through an era that's finally seeing a maturing and an intersection and levels of accessibility in technologies, both old and new, that is creating overlaps in disciplines and entire industries, creating new opportunities, but also obviously new challenges. But it's not about the technology, it's about the audience. Audiences aren't changing, they've changed. It's not that they're going to stop enjoying the things that they've enjoyed before, but it is important that we all recognise there's a new grammar, behaviours and expectations out there. These technologies provide us with incredible ways to engage with this audience, all of which are represented in these shortlisted projects. Whether that's through levels of play and interaction we can now achieve, providing a richer context in order for us to help engage and learn, or the ability to distribute ourselves and our content beyond the walls of our organisations. The pandemic has only sought to accelerate this and bring it into sharper focus. Storytelling, which is the category we're here for today, is the craft that underpins how all of our disciplines are executed successfully. It's how we communicate what's important to our audiences and us. That's why it's important that we celebrate the craft and the people operating in this space, the people who are wrestling the future and the hyperbole into something that can become the here and now. To mangle a quote from a good friend of mine, Annette, culture is the space for public imagination. Innovation in storytelling in this sector is vital in keeping this space alive. And now I'm pleased to introduce the shortlist for innovation in the digital storytelling category. As you can see, the quality of the entries was high. The winner that you chose, I think, embodies much of what I just spoke about, translating existing practice into a whole new medium and more. The winner is Chinese Arts Now and 2 Temple Place.
Huge congratulations to Chinese Arts Now and 2 Temple Place. I'm such a fan of this category. And you know what? Choosing your avatar, immersing yourself in that game, it was like gaming meets performance art. It was just brilliant. And I'm already a huge fan of the work that Daniel Yorklow does. Tell us how you feel about winning this category.
It's really, really exciting. And particularly, I'm so happy for everyone involved in this project because it's a truly collaborative project, which includes like fine artists, designer, technologists, musician, theater makers, and dancers. So we all work together to put this show online together. So it's just really, really exciting. And thanks everybody who voted for us.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to Chinese Arts Now and to Temple Place. And now, as we move on to the income generation category, which celebrates innovative digital revenue generation, monetization, or income diversification, I'll now hand over to category judge Liam Barden, who is a skilled commercial leader and the head of omnichannel trading at Tate, to speak a little bit about the category, introduce the shortlist, and announce the winner. Liam.
Super. Thanks so much for having me, and it's an absolute honour to be here. And hello to everyone. Since the digital culture networks were first announced a couple of months ago, we've seen the introduction of the metaverse, NFTs and the blockchain disrupting the ticketing sector, TikTok train spotter Francis Bourgeois become the face of the latest Gucci and North Face advertising campaign, and Selfridges curate their first retail exhibition, Universe. I contemplated talking to you through an avatar in the metaverse adorned with a digital culture network cap. But if there's one consistent thing through all of the submissions for digital innovation in income generation, it was the sense of real individuals doing really extraordinary things to support their businesses and inspire their audiences. The pace of change in the digital world is unprecedented, and the COVID-19 pandemic and the last couple of years have fundamentally changed the way we live. The impact on our people, places, products, and purpose continues to evolve at a pace that's often hard to navigate. However, maximizing our reach, revenue, reputation, and finding innovative ways to become more financially sustainable have never been more important. Having spent the majority of my career in the private sector, I can absolutely attest to the fact that the creative arts and culture sector are world leading in audience-centric, interconnected ways to generate income. The commercial proposition can often be misinterpreted to be in conflict with a mission or a purpose, but I honestly believe and hope that the last couple of years has demonstrated that as long as you keep your customers at the heart of everything you do and create immersive, seamless and experiential experiences that span all of your channels, income generation streams can fundamentally support and accelerate our ability to bounce back better and deliver our aims and goals. So now, I'm incredibly excited to introduce the shortlist for digital innovation in income generation. Huge congratulations to the shortlist. To say it was a close call would be an understatement. However, the winner of the Digital Innovation in Income Generation Award truly placed the audience at the centre of their decision making. Their evidence-based testing programme enabled them to drive continuous improvement in their customer experience whilst also exploring creative ways to maximise income without impacting reach or access. They've had almost 7,000 participants and almost 50% of those were new audiences. Therefore, I'm absolutely delighted to announce that the winner of the Digital Innovation in Income Generation Award is Opera North with From Couch to Chorus.
Congratulations, Opera North, and we have Marie joining us on behalf of the company. So much joy just watching the lessons and then come to life online and people dancing and bobbing. Honestly, I couldn't stop grinning. What was it like for you?
It was an incredible project, and really it's been a wonderful way for us to stay in touch with existing audiences during lockdown, but also to introduce opera to new audiences across the world. So it's been an amazing journey for us, and we are extremely grateful to all our participants for their support and generosity. I think more than an income project from Coast to Coast was really about creating a singing community and supporting people's health and well-being through the power of music and singing. And it's been really incredible. I just would like to thank everybody in the company, because this project was really a whole company project, and it wouldn't have been possible without everybody's support. So there's Oliver Wandel and the chorus of Opera North, the marketing and communication departments, our box office and development teams, our colleagues in the digital and technical departments for their support as well. But most importantly, Jennifer Sterling, who led the session, and all our colleagues from the education department who really held the project together. And we really look forward to a new edition of From Couch Coast starting in March, and hope that many of you will join us. So thanks again. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Marie. I can't wait to keep up with everything you're doing. Congratulations to you and the whole company. Next, we have the data-driven category, which celebrates those who have used data to create organisational change or support strategic decision-making. To say some more about this category and shortlist, and of course to announce the winner, I'd like to pass the mic over to category judge Rishi Copeland, Head of Research and Insight at the BFI, who's brought data intelligence to many of our treasured cultural institutions.
Hello, and welcome to the data-driven category. Data, for me, whenever I'm working on it, I'm always thinking about inequality. And right now, it can feel a bit like we're in a world that's very unfair. Whenever I look at work from the creative and cultural sectors, I'm always looking for something that addresses that inequality and unfairness. I'm looking for equalization of something that comes to the core of who we are as human beings. And what does digital tech and insight have to offer there? Well, we live in a world where the tools for doing digital tech and insight are better than they've ever been. You can carry out a survey on SurveyMonkey. Almost anyone can do that. You've got access to statistical tools at a click of a button. You can share your insights graphically on websites, on Twitter and Instagram or LinkedIn, and get feedback straight away. And you can reach people, as we have all been doing, via video conferencing, to interview them, to get insight into their lives and get closer to our audiences that way. All that feels like the kind of thing that will be really helpful in helping us address inequality, making culture fairer, better, and more in tune with our aims and values. But there's no doubt that with all that comes complexity. Many of us have been working more hours than we should do, trying to absorb every facet of a changing world and trying to absorb all this tech alongside it. So I didn't know what I would find when I looked at the people nominated for this category. And one thing I did find was a lot of belief. A lot of organisations and individuals, whether well-resourced or not well-resourced, going out there and trying. So I can tell you that there are people out there still trying to use tech, insight, and culture together to create a better world and a fairer world. And that certainly buoyed me up. What else did I see when I looked at these awards? Well, being really specific, I thought I saw many inspirational things. Notable example of the potential collaboration between art and science, with the science part being top-notch data and statistical analysis. I saw insights being used in really dynamic decision-making. As fast as information could be pulled out of a system, it was being injected into decision-making that affected the whole sector. And most notably, I saw organisations and individuals searching, to use a well-seasoned quote, not just for answers to their questions, but for new questions. That spirit of exploration, and keeping that spirit of exploration in all the insight and data work that goes on in our sector, is for me something personally that I really value. I think we must never stop being curious and judging these awards has given me plenty of reasons to feel optimistic about that. Now, I'll stop wobbling on, and I'm really excited, pleased and thrilled to introduce the shortlist for the data-driven category. And now on to the winner. This was a very hard category to judge, but I'm pleased to say that the winner is Sound and Music.
Huge congratulations to Sound and Music, and I know that we have Victoria here to talk on behalf of them. Congratulations, Victoria. Access to new music is something I'm so immensely passionate about, so this winning entry really did speak to me. How's it for you?
Thank you. I mean, firstly, what an incredible honour and what a thrill, and we'd like to say thank you to the Arts Council and the Digital Culture Network for including data as a category. And to be alongside our fellow nominees, Birmingham Open Media and Insight Alliance, is a huge honour. This is testament to many years of work at Sound of Music and by many people past and present, and a real dedication to the use and collection of data to shape our work, hold ourselves to account and create national change and impact. So I'd like to thank our wonderful team, who I wish I was with right now, but without their rigour, enthusiasm, engagement and creativity, this nomination wouldn't have happened. To our fabulous board of trustees who have always supported us in this work and our data-driven ambitions, our funders and donors whose support ensures that we have the time and space to explore data in groundbreaking and experimental ways. And most importantly, a massive and heartfelt thank you to our beneficiaries, audiences and users, the people behind the statistics, who composers, creators, young people, curious listeners and music educators who time and again fill in our forms, complete our surveys, take part in our evaluations, and who provide us with their data and trust us to use it well and enable us to make things better for the future through this shared knowledge. We've seen lots of changes since we started this work back in 2015, and we really try and use data to create and advocate for a more representative, equal, fairer and thriving new music sector for all. We really believe that data can and will help us get there, but also that it can be fun at the same time. So I just want to say a huge thank you for this remarkable recognition from me and all of the team at Sound of Music.
Huge congratulations to you and your team, Victoria. Really, really well done.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to content creation and distribution, which celebrates innovation in the development of creative content and or use of digital technology to distribute cultural content into homes and venues. Due to the sheer volume of brilliant entries that we received for this category, we've had to enlist not one, but two judges, and they are award-winning producer, artist and creative technologist and current head of broadcast and digital from the Roundhouse in London, Derek Richards, and Sarah Fortescue, who through her work as head of distribution at The Space has supported arts organisations all across the country to get their work in cinemas and on TV. They join us now to introduce the category and announce the winner.
So I'm very excited to be asked to judge these awards, as I think they provide a really timely platform to recognise all of the organisations who've created such innovative projects over the last year. And last year was no ordinary year. It's been really encouraging to see all of the different approaches that people have taken, driven by the desire to get their work to audiences under the most challenging circumstances. think the way that artists, producers, and marketers have adapted, sometimes learning entire new skill sets and consistently thinking outside the box, is reflective of the immense creativity and determination throughout our sector. So it was very difficult to whittle the final selection down, as each project is so unique in both its approach and its output. But all of the shortlisted projects were really special. So I just wanted to say thank you as a judge and as an audience member for sharing them. For now, I'm going to pass over to Derek, who can say a bit more.
Thanks, Sarah. We were looking for projects that had a clear strategy to achieve real impact and that were innovative. We have long passed the esoteric threshold historically with digital creativity and communication, but we're still on the frontier. And while we live in a world where digital content is every day, and to be honest, mundane at times, we're still at a frontier, and the best digital work pioneers new forms and approaches to making work, as well as communicating and engaging audiences. In 2020, the global pandemic that we're still struggling with threw down a gauntlet and challenged us all to keep the arts alive. And very soon it became clear that many artists and organisations responded in a true pioneering spirit. Let's have a look at some of them in the shortlist for the content creation and distribution category. Because we were presented with so many brilliant projects, Sarah and I are excited to say that in addition to the main category winner, we're able to award a special commendation to an additional organisation. We wanted to recognise the brilliant work this organisation did in relation to their authentic arts as activism mission, reflected in their distribution and engagement activity. So first up, I'd like to announce that the special commendation for the impact of their distribution strategy goes to Open Class Theatre, changing the world one play at a time.
Hey, well done, Open Class Theatre. And from Open Class, we have Carly. Carly, how are you?
I am great. Thank you so much. I am great. And
how does it feel to have won?
Fantastic. I'm overwhelmed, and I just want to say that this award, it belongs to many women. It belongs to the incredible women in the North who have put their trust in us to tell their stories. They're our collaborators, and they're the heart and the center of the work that advocates for change. It belongs to the Open Class team, our associates, freelancers, all women who create digital theatre to highlight injustice and challenge the status quo. It belongs to our audiences, our local community in the northeast of England, partners, academics who stand beside us, particularly on our distribution. Our work continues to open minds, change hearts and save lives by taking women's stories into virtual rooms to train social workers and frontline services. And we're streaming into community centres, theatres, workspaces, and directly into the nation's living room with State of the Nation Theatre. So thank you, and we will continue to change the world one play at a time.
Oh, Carly, well done, really, to all of you at Open Class. The hashtag Choose to Challenge was International Women's Day's theme this year, and it's definitely inspired me. So when I saw your category, it really, really spoke to me. Well done, and congratulations to everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Open Class. But now back to Derek to find out who our winner is.
Thank you, Jasmine. And now I'm pleased to announce the winner for the Content Creation and Distribution category. Chosen because, like many organisations during the pandemic, they did more than simply stream the stage to audiences' screens. They clearly thought about what it would mean to bring the theatre into people's homes and what it would mean for artists to perform in this medium. In doing so, they turned a challenge into an opportunity to genuinely innovate using accessible technologies that were at the disposal of the widest audiences. This year's winner of the Content Creation and Distribution Award is the Old Vic for Old Vic in Camera.
Congratulations, Old Vic. And we have Harriet from the Old Vic here. Oh, Harriet, it was so exciting to see all that incredible behind the scenes footage. Tell us about that.
Oh, thank you so much. This is so lovely. So yeah, I'm Harriet. I'm the producer at the Old Vic, and I'm so happy to accept this on behalf of everybody at the Old Vic who worked on the in-camera series. The idea came from Matthew Walchus, our artistic director, to find a way to react in an artistic way to the pandemic and make possible the opportunity for live, shared, theatrical experiences to happen as quickly as possible. And the first of our 7 titles was in June 2020. We were able to reach 110,000 households in 93 countries. And as part of that, we're able to give thousands of tickets away for free to care homes and school groups. So the whole thing felt very, very special. And I have a list of thank yous. I hope you'll bear with me. The first thank you is to everybody at the Old Vic who really took a leap of faith with this. And as was mentioned in one of the earlier introductions, a lot of people ended up doing jobs that they didn't sign up to do. So our technical teams operating cameras and doing live vision mixing for the first time, for example, it was absolutely amazing effort on everyone's behalf. There was also the brilliant 400 plus freelancers that we worked with, performers, creative, stage management team, tech teams that came on the adventure. And a few specific thank yous, Stage Text and Ros Chalmers for making all the performances that we did completely accessible. And our sponsors, RBC and PwC, for their continued support, and an extra special thank you to Zoom, who we couldn't have done it without. They were our partners on the project. And finally, thank you DCMS and Arts Council England, whose support through the Cultural Recovery Fund was more than a lifeline during the pandemic. We're really proud of the in-camera series, but this is the icing on the cake. Thanks so much.
Harriet, thank you, and congratulations to you and your team at the Old Vic. That's the first time I've ever heard anyone in a thank you speech thank Zoom. But yes, we must all thank Zoom. Congratulations again to the Old Vic and to Open Class. How brilliant for us to be able to recognise not one but 2 organisations in this very competitive category. Right. Next up, it's the Being Social category, which celebrates the use of digital to reach, grow and engage existing and new audiences. And for that, I'm going to hand you over now to Adam Kozari, who has led social campaigns for Tesla, Museum of English Rural Life and the Royal Academy of Art, and is now the head of digital at the Audience Agency, to say a few words. Adam.
Being social is integral to the relevance of the cultural sector. And I love that title, Being Social. It's not best social media or anything like that. It's truly getting at the spirit of what it means to be using social media to connect with our audiences. It's not talking at people or broadcasting, it's participatory. It's creating conversations. It's not just acknowledging that we should be centering the user, but actually celebrating it and reveling in creating content from culture that people actively enjoy. Social media is simply the tool for being social. And I feel like a lot of us recently have been focusing on the stick and not the carrots when it comes to social media, because the threat is that not enough of us have been brave enough with social media, despite 66% of the UK population being active users. So using social media to share information, have conversations, It's where they choose how to spend their money and indeed their free time. TikTok replaced Google as the world's most popular website in 2021. So if we're not present on social media and more crucially being social on social media, then we do increasingly face a future of irrelevance in the face of audiences. But the carrot is what we should be focusing on. Social media with time and effort represents a chance to be sharing our stories and missions with people not just in our locality, but across the country and indeed across the world. I know that's easier said than done, but we also forget that doing social media is actually meant to be fun. At its heart, social media is about creativity and being social. It should be fun to brainstorm ideas, to be finding new ways to communicate our work and interact with our audiences. And the pandemic has pushed a lot of us into using social media as that lifeline to keeping the connection with audiences. And what the long list and short list of this category show is a group of creative trailblazers who were supported by their organisations to take risks and to try something new. For me, that's what innovation means for being social. It's constantly trying new things, finding new opportunities for content in the work that we do, and perhaps crucially, putting a human face on our organisations on social media. There are people with that rare combination of a deep understanding of what their organisation is for, the creative mind to spark ideas, and the technical skills to make it happen. So now I'm humbled to introduce this incredible shortlist for the Being Social category. Now, this was an incredibly difficult choice, but for sheer global impact, for ruthlessly exploiting their niche and showing the rest of the sector of how to engage with TikTok, the winner is the Black Country Living Museum's entry, engaging new audiences with creative video and social content.
Fantastic work by Black Country Living Museum, and we're joined by Emily from there. Emily, how mind-blowing. I never thought I'd see the day where museums and TikTok were so intertwined, and to be the biggest museum globally to be on TikTok, that's such an achievement. Really well done.
Thank you so much. It's been the most amazing project, and it has truly brought us closer to both our audience, a bit close to home and all over the world as well. And it's been fantastic to be able to connect with the younger generations on TikTok. And it's been, as someone that is involved with the account on camera, it was a particularly wild summer to have people chasing you around, asking you for photos because they wanted to prove to everyone that they'd met the 40s lady. I have a few thank yous to say. I'd like to thank Abby Bird as the original mastermind behind the account for her creativity and her appetite for always wanting to try something new, without which the account wouldn't be here. Moving to TikTok was a massive step for us, and we're so glad that we took that risk. And we'd also like to thank the wider BCLM community. TikTok is a massive collaboration, and there's so much more to the account than what everyone gets to see on camera. There's people providing research, people providing costumes, people providing safe places to film. So we'd like to thank everyone that works on the staff here at the Black Country Living Museum. And thank you to you guys as well for this award, because it's really wonderful to be recognised in this way.
Emily, well done to all of you and your team. I have to tell you that I went down some rabbit holes on TikTok and Twitter watching the curator battles. I'm used to rap battles and singing battles and music battles, but I'd never heard of a museum being able to curate battles with other museums on pieces of art. And do you know what? How amazing that I didn't have to walk around a museum. Literally, you did all the hard work for us, showed us the most interesting things there. Well done, and congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Huge congratulations again to Black Country's Living Museum. Well, that brings us to the halfway point of today's event, which gives us a chance to see firsthand some of the work from one of the nominated projects. Alexander Whitley Dance Company have kindly allowed us to show their second in their triptych of chaotic body films. It's titled Chaotic Body 2, Liminal Phase, for its UK premiere screening. So no one's ever seen this before. This is a first for all of us, so we're very, very lucky. This motion capture based digital film takes inspiration from chaos theory and the dynamic processes it describes and the associated geometrical patterns found in nature. A work for two dancers, it places emphasis on the human breath to dissolve the boundaries between the form of the two dancers' bodies and the environment in which they're situated. This innovative film was made in collaboration with digital artists Uncharted Limbo Collective, with a score by Missy Mazzoli, and it's performed by dancers David Ledger and Hannah Ekholm. It performs part of the Digital Body Project, and that's launched in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So we'll be playing the whole 6.5-minute video now, and then we'll take a break for a few minutes, returning at about 4:54 p.m. So sit back, enjoy this brilliant dance piece, grab yourselves a drink, and we'll see you back here in about 10 minutes. Thanks again to Alexander Whitley Dance Company for allowing us to share their beautiful work. Wasn't it incredible? Just magical and mesmerizing. I need to really follow what you guys are doing. Absolutely incredible work. Before we move on to more exciting announcements, I want to remind you all that you can follow along live on Twitter. I hope you're doing that at ace_DCN and by using the Digital Culture Awards hashtag. So that's hashtag Digital Culture Award on Twitter. All right, now it's time for more winners announcements as we move on to the Digital Trailblazer category, which celebrates organisations who have embedded digital practice to bring about measurable change and progress. Here to introduce the shortlist and announce the winner is Katz Keeley, digital transformation expert, thought leader, pioneer and CEO of Beep. Katz, over to you.
Hi, so it was 20 years ago that I worked with the Arts Council and the BBC on an innovative commissioning scheme. It was a program that invited artists into the digital space to play. Everything that we did, the marketing, the way we selected, the way that we interacted with the commissioned artists, it was all about digital. And digital transformation is what I've done ever since. I've done all sorts of things. I've built the world's first open innovation competition platform and re-architected the way that a UN agency does work and designed a city-scale behavior change platform with Intel. And all of this has taught me that innovation culture, it's not about the tech. It's about embedding the mindsets and the behaviors across organizations. It's about thinking about the customer, and I'm talking about inside and outside. It's about unlocking the problem-solving potential of people. So for me, digital transformation isn't about using tech to do more of the same. It's about changing the way we work and communicate and interact, and about building a culture that enables and incentivizes innovation. And as I say, I've worked with some of the world's biggest companies and supported lasting change. And most of them insist and have insisted on resisting this change for 20 years. So I was absolutely delighted to be asked to judge this trailblazer category. And I know that judges say this, but I can be completely honest. Every single submission was brilliant. So COVID has obviously, it's driven this kind of big, real, speedy innovation. And all of the organizations who submitted demonstrated so much commitment to harness everything that digital really offers. And let's not forget that arts organizations like yours, cultural organizations like yours, you've got the added gem. You've got the benefit of a creative product that you know audiences and customers love. It brings them joy, it entertains, it inspires. Your purpose is how they can escape from everyday life into somewhere magical, somewhere inspiring, somewhere provocative. So by nature, you have the added bonus of the kind of people who choose to work in the arts. They are the innovators, they are the creatives, they're the problem solvers, if you let them. So the magic that creates transformation is building trust and connections and collaborations, and technology makes all of that easier for us. It provides the platforms we can collaborate on. It provides ways we can connect with bigger audiences, and it gives us tools so we can create, be more efficient about it. So for me, it's all about working better, more humanly, more authentically. So we are all part of shaping the future of digital. And many of the organizations who submitted for this category have adopted a digital by default approach and shifted away from the traditional channels and ways of working to unleash the potential of digital. And more importantly, for me, the mindset and the culture that keeps driving that positive change. And more importantly still, they've democratized, they've expanded their reach to engage people who would never normally be able to engage. So massive congratulations. And now I'm pleased to introduce the shortlist for the Digital Trailblazer category. As I said, every single submission for this category was incredible. It was really, really hard to choose a winner. But the winner in this category should be recognized not only for the sheer speed by which they embrace digital, but also for their commitment to support their mission to reach and empower and inspire young talent. The winner of this category relaunched their annual festival. And long before most of us had had our first Zoom meeting, they pivoted to host the whole thing entirely online, just 2 weeks after the 2020 lockdown. But this was a festival with a difference, because the online room can be a bigger room. And this meant that 10,000 people attended their free online masterclasses from world leaders across the arts. With the pandemic, of course, cancelling work across the world, there were a lot of voices who were free and keen to connect and really be part of the experience. And now they're an entirely repurposed organization. They're using digital tech to produce digital works, and they're using partnerships to ensure everyone who is traditionally excluded from the arts can be at the very heart of their new works. So I am very, very, very pleased to announce that the winner of the Digital Trailblazer category is the National Student Drama Festival for NSDF, went online and welcomed the world.
Wow, how incredible. Congratulations, National Student Drama Festival. We have James here from the team. I mean, incredible. Creating a whole online festival in 2 weeks after the first lockdown. As Kat said, incredibly sheer speed. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And we're a very small organization. And one of the great things about being small is that you can be nimble. And so that that initial moment when everything changed and everything was going dark and terrible, my team, which is a brilliant team of Lizzie Melbourne, Kim Grant, Ellie Fitzgerald, and Kiki Kolomada, who are the engine behind all of this, have at that point and going forward have steamed into action. And as they say, that the great revelation of all of this is that an online room can be a bigger room, and that at that moment, crisis breeds invention and innovation. And I hope that we are now able to be much more useful to reach thousands and thousands more people. And it's been a great joy and a great education for us to be able to use digital tech in this way, and to, I hope, be helpful to more young people. So it's been a wonderful journey, and it continues.
Oh, James, what incredible work you and your team have done. Really congratulate everyone from us, the National Student Drama Festival, everyone. Well done to you all. Next, we have a category which recognises the work of an individual. Emerging Digital Leader celebrates an inspiring individual who's been a creative and innovative force for change in their organisation. This category was judged by Hilary Carty, Executive Director at Claw Leadership. Hilary has a distinguished career as a cultural leader and a change maker, and she's perfectly placed to introduce the shortlist and announce the winner. Hilary.
Well, firstly, I'd like to say what a pleasure and a challenge it was to review and judge the entries to the Emerging Digital Leader category. I was so encouraged by the truly inspiring, informative, and creative examples of digital innovation and engagement across the category as a whole. Some started from scratch as a result of lockdown, others built on the work that they had already been doing, but sought genuinely fresh ways to reach out to audiences with offers that would be meaningful, impactful, and spark creative interaction. I was particularly struck by the care and attention brought to engaging with audiences. All our entrants acknowledged the hugely challenging circumstances of our recent past, with lockdowns, inequalities, and social exclusion at the front of our minds. They gave deep consideration to the limitations of participant time and worked hard to combine ease of access with good quality provision that would be attractive, inspiring, and stimulating, thus making a positive contribution to creative well-being. Huge admiration and my congratulations to all the entrants. Please, please do keep your work going. It was tough to narrow the field, but I am delighted to introduce the shortlist for the Emerging Digital Leader category. So you see, I really was not joking when I said it was a tough call to judge this category. But this winner stood out for the breadth of activities they delivered and the admirable depth of engagement they achieved locally, nationally, and internationally. The winner of the Emerging Digital Leader category is Michael Hardy, Digital Engagement Curator at Barnsley Museum.
Michael, how innovative and visionary for you to have curated bingo and juxtaposed it with Barnsley's Museum. Congratulations. Tell us about that.
Thank you so much. I'm just blown away to be part of this. I started at Barnsley Museums in this job 9 months pre-pandemic, so I was finding my feet, and then the world changed. So being working part of such a creative team has been great. So as you've already mentioned, jigsaws. I didn't realise how people loved jigsaws until March 2020. I started it as an experiment, as things I do. I'm trying to be an experiment. And I've been doing them every day since 2020, and I can't stop because people just love them. It's been part of their daily routine, and people are still playing them now in their hundreds all over the world. I've appeared on radio in Australia and in Sheffield, which I never expected to do. I don't always have the confidence to do stuff like that, so it's been great. As you've already mentioned, I played bingo at home and shared stories in different ways. And I suppose to sum it up, it's been able to experiment and be fun along the way, and also be informative.
Honestly, it was fascinating to watch. You were just brilliant, and so much dynamic personality. I'm not surprised people were so enraptured with Barnsley Bingo, Barnsley's museum, and everything you, Michael Hardy, have done with your team. Really great job.
Thank you so much. It's been great.
Brilliant. Well done again. This brings us to digital inclusion, our second publicly voted category, which celebrates digital innovation used to widen access to artistic engagement. The judge for this category was Andrew Miller, MBE, cultural consultant, broadcaster and disability champion, and an incredible role model as one of the first generation of disabled presenters in UK broadcasting. I'll pass you over to him now so he can say a few words about the category, the shortlist, and of course, introduce you to our winner.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to be with you to announce the winner of the Digital Inclusion Award today, and to share some thoughts about how vital digital inclusion will continue to be in the months and years ahead. One thing I've learned in the pandemic is that confidence, personal confidence, is a really funny thing. You're not really aware of it until it's gone. And after 18 months at home with only the occasionally distance excursion and vaccination, by last July, I definitely lost my confidence. I'm not even on the front line of vulnerability, but as a disabled individual, I'm clinically susceptible to COVID and medically advised to be highly cautious. Pre-pandemic, attending live cultural events was part of my work and my lifestyle too. Typically, I'd attend about 100 events per year. But after February 2020, all that changed. And like everybody else, I became an avid consumer of digital culture, exhibitions, plays, concerts, the works. And as the months passed, the threat of COVID meant returning to regular event going was neither a priority nor something I really wanted to do. So it was reassuring to see the cultural sector respond by innovating easily accessible online digital projects like many of those shortlisted today. But perhaps understandably, throughout 2021, we saw the focus return to the live experience. The Arts and Humanities Research Council reported a 50% year-to-year drop in the number of theatres offering new digital content. And that digital withdrawal jeopardized many of the inclusive benefits developed in 2020, not only for deaf and disabled audiences, but for the elderly, carers, night workers, those whose economic circumstances prevent live engagement. I believe maintaining socially distanced live performances and widening the reach of original digital content represents nothing short of a new access requirement for disabled and many other excluded audiences. Arts Council England's inclusive reopening statement encourages it, as do the UK Disability Arts Alliance 7 inclusive principles. Because the simple fact is, there will be many people who will take more time to return to live event attendance, and others for whom it is simply no longer a priority nor convenient. So it requires cultural organisations to be willing to experiment in new forms of digital content, as many represented in today's shortlists clearly have, but it's also an investment in the future. When you consider that pre-pandemic, disabled people accounted for 12% of the national audience, I think it's both a moral and commercial imperative. And now I am delighted to introduce the shortlist for the digital inclusion category. We had a fantastically strong shortlist of 5 great projects in the digital inclusion category. But of course, there is only one award. And the winner stood out for its combination of high production values, originality, its authentically authored voice, and its significant audience reach, especially with traditionally excluded audiences. So I'm delighted to tell you the winner, voted for by the public, is Open Sky Theatre's Microplays. Congratulations.
An incredible set of nominees in such a strong category and a very worthy winner. Claire from Open Sky Theatre, congratulations to you. We've been missing the narrative and the voice of content through a female lens for so long. How does it feel to have won?
It's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. This is such a big deal for us. We are an absolutely tiny organisation. There is only 2 of us at the helm. So this is a really, really big deal. And obviously we had to scale up in order to make microplays. We employed 45 cast, crew and creatives, including our 5 amazing writers, Kate Atwell, Matilda Abini, Tana Stivicic, Iman Qureshi and Emily White. The plays were all directed by my partner in all things, Lyle Turner, who came up with the very brilliant idea of making plays that we could fit into everyone's pockets during the pandemic. So yeah. I've got a long list of people to thank as well, if that's all right.
Go ahead. Everyone deserves their credit. We're in a time landscape era now where everyone who does the work gets to shine. Go ahead.
All right. So, well, obviously, thank you to Arts Council England for supporting this project and for ongoing supporting our work. Thank you for the tech champions for giving us the benefit of your wisdom, and everyone at the Digital Culture Network. Obviously, thanks to our amazing cast of crew and creatives. And our fellow nominees, what auspicious company we find ourselves in. Well done to all of you. And thank you to the over 600,000 people who watched Microplays and to all of the people who voted for it. And finally, what we learned on making Microplays, we've now been able to take on board and make our latest piece Cold, which is currently screening at the Mime Festival London. So I'm just going to blatantly plug that as well.
Brilliant plug. Listen, everyone, tag everyone on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We all need to keep connected. Really fantastic work by you and your team, Claire, at Open Sky Theatre. Congratulations to you all. That's all our categories, but not quite all the winners yet. I'm now excited to introduce our final speaker, Kanya King CBE. She's the CEO and founder of the MOBO Awards. Kanya is an internationally renowned entrepreneur, a visionary thriving to elevate creative talent and to create a more diverse foundation where talent's not wasted and the creative arts can flourish. Kanya will now share her thoughts on using technology for inclusion and providing a platform for creative talent. Kanya.
Thank you all for inviting me to say a few words today. I mean, it really has been a challenging time for the arts and culture sector. That would be an understatement. But the pandemic has been transformative for so many within the sector. From job losses to budget cuts, there has been uncertainty around us all, yet it's not been all doom and gloom. And within this time of uncertainty lies opportunities. And the 9 winners today have more than risen to the challenge. These organisations, and many like them, used the crisis to transform their organisation. They responded to the sudden changes, making difficult and courageous decisions every day. And I think now more than ever, it's really, really important to celebrate success whenever and wherever we see it. It's really important to tell inspiring stories and recognise and kind of praise innovation, which is exactly what these awards have set out to do. And I, for one, kind of know the power of shining a spotlight on creativity, which can be a massive inspiration to others and provides that much needed validation. So it's a privilege, it really is a privilege, I think, to be able to showcase world-class talent who have brilliantly adapted to volatile conditions and not just survived, but thrived. It requires a lot of courage, strength and resilience to be a change maker, learning to ignore the very naysayers, the many of them, being able to motivate yourself when others doubt you or don't believe in you, finding the energy to keep going when you have one crisis follow another. And all you really want to do is quit, but then you can't. This is why I salute all the change makers who've had to fight, not just for themselves, but for the many others who rely on them. You have to know why you do what you do. And I think the ripples of creativity, they really build momentum, they motivate, they engage and inspire. They inspire people to take the initiative and come forward with energy and ideas to create visible impact, both internally and externally. Therefore, a huge congratulations to all the winners selected from the so many extremely strong entries. I applaud you all. Change isn't always easy, as we at the MOBO organisation know all too well. Just to share something a bit more personal, the pandemic really hit the music industry hard in March 2020. The collapse of the live industry affected not only artists, but the thousands of people who worked alongside it, from road crew and sound engineers to security guards. And most of the biggest events in the world were cancelled. I mean, our film and music events fell off a cliff. Our sponsorship conversations stopped mid-flow, and we were forced to pause, stop and take stock, but not for very long. We then witnessed the very public killing of George Floyd, the subsequent outrage that swept across the globe, and the rise to prominence of the Black Lives Matter movement. These events also demonstrate the catastrophic impact of structural inequality and led organisations to speak out, making commitments to this community. Turbulent times can really present an opportunity to challenge the status quo and drive innovation. And, you know, we really wanted to shine a light on the areas where work needed to be done. So for us, 2020 became a year of massive action and change. We quickly developed and communicated a point of view to our team of warriors on the best path forward, feeling energized that the new situation we were in gave us a chance to do something differently, provide a new sense of direction and giving even more support to talent in their careers. This engagement created a sense of togetherness. Our resilience, like many other muscle, has to be built up. And over the years, this has been built up for the many challenges we've had to overcome. And this enabled us to remain flexible and adaptable. The key driver behind our resilience was our purpose. And having a defined goal or reason for doing what you do means that even in the toughest times when it feels like the world is against you, there's a reason to keep moving forward. So in 2020, in the midst of the pandemic, we made the decision to go ahead and host the MOBA Awards, which became a huge success, trending globally with a groundbreaking virtual award show. It was powerful, innovative, and most importantly, entertaining, despite a very fluid situation, a super quick turnaround. We did not want to shy away from highlighting some serious topics and created powerful performance and standout moments. Creatively, we were really trying to push the boundaries, as we did not want the show to be the same as many other shows that had gone before us. And with our event being in December, our audience had seen so many virtual shows and were growing weary of them. So we achieved our aim of creating something that looked and felt very different, using new technology, and was very empowering. We reimagined what could be possible, and we allowed ourselves to experiment, rather like all of the winners we have today. But this was not enough. You know, we wanted to use our platform to eradicate the racial imbalance in the workplace by accelerating and advancing professionals and galvanizing forward-thinking organizations committed to systemic change. And I think the crisis gave us the strength to double down. Mobilize, our kind of digital career networking platform, which is powered by Accenture, was born out of that spirit and heritage of MOBA and the work we've been doing for the past 25 years to support creative and cultural talent. And I think technology can be an enabler of greater diversity and inclusion, providing data and insights that can challenge our thinking, influences, processes, and ultimately change behavior. The winner that I'll be shortly announcing has inclusion at the heart of their programs, engaging participants digitally that wouldn't normally consider themselves as live theatre goers. They have questioned whether our differences have to divide us, a question which we can ask in the digital and non-digital world as it becomes one. They shared stories that fostered empathy, understanding, and connected in ways that were very compelling. It is now my distinct honour to announce the winner's winner to Open Sky Theatre for their microplays. Congratulations, well done.
Thank you, Kanya King, and congratulations again to Open Sky Theatre. Sensational work. And that brings us to the end of today's event. But before we go, I'd like to say a huge thank you to Tina, Darren, Kanya, and all our expert judges. And of course, a huge well done to all our award winners, our shortlisted individuals and organisations. Without you, there is no us. The past 2 years have thrown up some of the most challenging circumstances the culture sector has ever faced. And the creativity and the resilience that all of you have shown has been so inspiring. It's exciting to see how your innovation has changed and will continue to change the way audiences experience art and culture. And we can't wait to see what you all produce and provide next. And while this event's drawing to a close, the Digital Culture Awards isn't over just yet. Keep an eye on the Digital Culture Network website and socials in the coming weeks and months for case studies of all our exciting winning projects and news about next year's awards. And remember, all arts and culture organisations in England are eligible for free support from the Digital Culture Network. Head to digitalculturenetwork.org.uk for more info and to get in touch. Finally, from all of us here at the Digital Culture Awards, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye, and we'll see you next year.